The emergency beacon pierced through the static like a scream in the void. Lieutenant Maya Torres stood at the helm of the Frontier Scout, her fingers dancing across the holographic display as she triangulated the source. Colony 7, a mining outpost on the edge of the Kepler system. Barely 300 souls clinging to survival on a dead moon. Distance? She asked, her voice steady despite the knot forming in her stomach. 42 light minutes, replied Corporal Jake Morrison from the tactical station. But Maya, the distress code. It's a code black. Swarm infestation. Maya's jaw tightened. Code black. The worst possible scenario. The Vorath insectoid nightmares that bred in the dark between stars had found another human settlement. She'd seen the aftermath of their attacks before. Entire colonies reduced to organic matter, consumed and converted into breeding grounds for more of those chittering horrors. Set course. Maximum burn, she ordered. That'll empty our fuel reserves, Jake warned. I don't care. People are dying. The Frontier Scout lurched forward, her fusion engines screaming as they pushed beyond recommended limits. Maya watched the timer count down 38 minutes until arrival. 38 minutes while families huddled in fear, while those things tore through bulkheads and feasted on human flesh. She checked her weapons locker, standard plasma rifle, molecular blade, and her father's old revolver relic from Earth, firing chemically propelled projectiles. Primitive, but reliable. She'd need every advantage. When they burst into Colony 7's space, the carnage was immediate and visceral. The main habitat dome had been breached in 17 places, atmosphere venting like blood from wounds. Thousands of Voraths swarmed across the surface, their carapaces gleaming sickly green under the distant sun. Christ, Jake whispered. There must be hundreds of them. Scanning for survivors, Maya said, forcing herself to focus on the data streams. Her sensors picked up life signs clustered in the emergency bunker beneath the colony's medical center. 47 humans, still alive, still fighting, but the Vorath were digging toward them. I'm going down there, Maya announced, already moving toward the airlock. You can't be serious. That's suicide. Those are people, Jake. I didn't join the Frontier Corps to watch colonists die. She sealed her helmet and grabbed her weapons. Keep the ship ready for evac. When I call, you come fast. Maya, that's an order. Corporal. The drop pod screamed through the thin atmosphere, rattling Maya's bones as retro thrusters fired to slow her descent. She crashed through the roof of a collapsed storage facility, rolling out with her plasma rifle already firing. 3 Vorath turned their eyeless heads toward her, mandibles clicking in predatory anticipation. She burned them down without hesitation, purple gore splattering across the walls. The smell hit her even through her suit's filters. Something between rotting meat and battery acid. 40-7 people, she reminded herself. Move. Maya ran through the colony's ruins, her suit's combat AI highlighting threats in red. Vorath emerged from every shadow, every doorway, scrambling over debris with horrifying speed. She fought like a demon, plasma bolts cutting through chitin and flesh, her molecular blade humming as it severed limbs and heads. When her rifle's battery died, she drew the revolver, the archaic weapons report echoing through dead corridors like thunder. She killed 20, 30, lost count somewhere after 50. Her suit's armor was scored and cracked, one shoulder pauldron completely torn away. Biogel leaked from a dozen wounds where Vorath claws had found flesh. Pain became white noise, irrelevant compared to the mission. The bunker entrance appeared ahead, buried under rubble and surrounded by a seething mass of Vorath. At least 50 of the creatures clawed at the reinforced door, which was beginning to buckle. Maya primed her last grenade, a plasma charge that would turn everything in a 20-meter radius into superheated vapor, including her, if she wasn't fast enough. For Earth, she whispered, and through. The explosion was magnificent and terrible. The shockwave hurled her backward, slamming her into a wall hard enough to crack ribs. When the light faded and her vision cleared, she saw the Vorath were dead, their bodies reduced to smoking fragments. The bunker door groaned open. Faces emerged, haggard, terrified, but alive. Maya tried to stand and failed, her legs refusing to support her weight. She activated her come, Jake, ... Evac now. Bunker entrance, bring ... everyone. Hands grabbed her, pulling her inside. Someone was crying. Many people were crying. Maya's vision swam, going dark at the edges. Then she saw them, twin girls, maybe 5 years old, clutching each other beside a woman whose face was streaked with tears and dust. The mother looked at Maya with an expression that transcended words, her mouth forming a silent thank you. That carried more weight than any speech. The woman's lips trembled as she finally found her voice. You saved them. You saved my babies. How ... How can I ever? Maya's heart cracked, not from the pain of her wounds, but from something deeper, the realization of how close she'd come to failure, of how easily those children could have died screaming in the dark. She thought of all the colonies they hadn't reached in time, all the families who died alone. Just keep them safe, Maya managed, her own voice breaking. Let them grow up. That's enough. The Frontier Scouts' lights appeared through the breach in the dome, Jake bringing the ship in with reckless precision. The colonists helped Maya to her feet, supporting her as they ran for salvation. Later, in the medbay, as Nanite stitched her wounds and Jake filed the after-action report, Maya stared at the ceiling and thought about those twins, about their mother's cry of gratitude, so full of relief and love and terrible awareness of how close they'd come to oblivion. 40-7 saved hundreds more who would live because one human refused to let monsters win. That's what humanity did. They ran toward the screaming. They stood between the darkness and the innocent. They bled so others wouldn't have to. Maya closed her eyes and smiled through her tears. That was enough.